Hey everybody, it is tea time with the Diva. Grab your tea, grab your coffee, because we're going to get into it. This tea time is dedicated to Diddy and all the lies that were told before the trial, during the trial, and now after the trial. You know, many people are very upset about the verdict, and I'm confused about why. If you tell a lie, how do you expect for the jury to convict somebody when everybody wants to get up in that stand and lie? And whether you want to tell 10% of the truth, 20% of the truth, or 5% of the truth, the opposite means that you are half lying or 90% lying. A lot of people got up in that stand and lied, but you can't blame them 100%. Why? Because the prosecution knew they was going to lie, and they put their rubber stamp on the lie, and they thought that when the person got up in that witness stand, that the jury was not going to see past the BS and the lies. So if you want to be mad at anybody about how this trial came out, be mad at the prosecution, because they knew they was bringing some BS to the table, and they thought that it was going to slip through. So shame on them for thinking the general public, the jury of 12 of his peers, were going to not see past the nonsense. But really what I'm here for today is because the Diddy orbit, I like to call it. I like to call all the people that ever worked for him, whether they were security, the chef, an assistant, a friend of a friend that stopped by to sweep the floor in his mansion. I don't know. The Diddy orbit. They're all going at it amongst each other because everybody got a story to tell. And when the people tell the story, every single part of the story that has them in it, they were so angelic, and Diddy was the big bad monster. And so they're rewriting history because they don't want to tell. If they would tell the truth, they would free themselves. And people may understand a little bit better. But see, they want to tell the story, and they were so angelic in the story, and he was the big bad monster. And then what happens is when other pieces of the truth come out, then they're going to be looked upon as a liar because they refused to tell the truth from the beginning. So I'm bringing this all up now because, like I said, the orbit, they're kind of going back and forth at each other. You know, Roger Bond has his Diddy stories. Gene Dill has his Diddy stories. So I guess recently Gene Dill told a story about, a Danny Kane story and how he knew what went on with Cassie, whatever. Well, Roger Bond said Gene Dill went through what he went through with Diddy, but it was the early stages. Because Roger Bond says when it comes to Cassie and making the band, that's when he was there. Gene Dill wasn't even in the picture. So Gene Dill apparently said something about Diddy, I guess, trying to give some substances and sneak them on Danny Kane. But Roger Bond said that wasn't how Diddy got down. Now, the only reason why I'm going to connect more, but I know you're going to try to beat me up. No, we heard this, we heard this, we heard this. The thing is, a lot was spread like wildfire, but the truth falls on cotton. Now, I was not there, but I'm just putting Diva thoughts together. The Southern District of New York, they wanted to tell us these freak-offs were all forced, the people were coerced, and they was drug-filled. But yet they had all these tapes. They chopped it up and combined what I guess they called the best of all the footage they had. And how does the best of all the footage you have, it's 11 minutes, and in that 11 minutes, you don't see nobody being forced to put nothing down their throat but this man forced them to do it, and they was all drugged up or whatever the case may be, but not one of the tapes that y'all viewed or had showed them being forced to do XYZ. Let me stop talking. Let's listen to Roger Bonds really quickly, and then we'll get more into it.
I keep trying to leave this shit behind me, but so many people hit me on this shit, and so many people say, "Oh, Bonds, you lied about this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other." Let me explain something to y'all, man. I don't tell no lies. I don't tell no lies for no money. I don't tell no lies for no fame. I don't tell no lies for no fortune. I definitely ain't gonna tell no lie on somebody that I considered a friend at one time. All right? Now, somebody sent me like 5 or 10 clips, and I don't have nothing against nobody, but I'm gonna tell the truth. It was a clip on I forgot the dude's name. I did a show twice, man. But right now, this particular second, I forgot his name. But it was Gene Deal saying that Puff said I'm a drug Danity Kane. First of all, I'm gonna tell y'all this, man. Whatever Gene went through Puff, he went through with Puff, but he went through that at the early stages. I've never seen Gene around Puff during making it a band, during Danity Kane, and during Cass. So yeah, you might have a lot of stories, but you got your stories ahead of time. Second of all, if anybody know Puff, Puff don't talk like that. He don't talk like that. Period. And like I told you, I never seen him have to drug nobody. Now, him doing drugs is something different. Him and his friends doing drugs is something different. But to sneak and drug somebody, I've never seen it in my life. More or less never even heard him talk about it. So that's the end of it again, man, for me. So may y'all have a blessed day. All right, I'm going to tell y'all some shit.
So again, I read to you here because I want to see when it's introduced who jumps in his chat. So once again, DV is this man problem. And we've seen that, and it's bad. And being a freak with money that makes the P life come to life because he has the money to do so. Yes, it's done. Yes, it's done weird stuff. But to have to sneak and drug someone, no. To have S relations with kids, no. Now to be a shrewd businessman, yes. To love money more than people, yes. To have no loyalty, yes. Let's get off the BS and let's get to the problem, which is DV. Okay. That's Roger Bonds. Now, here is okay, Roger Bonds again. I guess he said that part is so deep for me. I'm just saying, let's be honest, and only he knows. But to sneak and do things is not his style. If you get too drunk, he would tell you to he would tell me to put you out. Now, I guess he went to say now, not his style. Now, I will say this, which is interesting to connect to what Roger Bonds is saying. It was, said that Diddy told the dealers to stop selling to Cassie. He thought Cassie was hooked too bad and didn't want them to sell to her anymore. Just throwing that out there. Now, there's Jordan. She's a chef that worked for Diddy at one time. And you can go back in my channel, have videos on her. Now, she said that she wrote a letter to the judge saying, do not let Diddy out once the verdict came out and he was found, not guilty on the more serious charges. She said, because he's a danger to society and he's scared. She also said that, called Diddy Aris, okay? Fill in the blank, you know what that means. So she jumped in and said, it's okay to stick with what you don't know. You weren't there because that's what the truth is. So I guess she was upset because she, experienced some things with Diddy. I don't know if she was talking about Gene Dill, but he goes at her exactly. And then he also says, but the one thing I do know is he wasn't there because I was there when Danity Kane was made, when Making the Band was formed. Just stick to what you know and was there for, period. Well, she puts, well, I was there for that too. I never been confused about anything I speak on. And he said to her, I was there when he put hands on you. And I spoke on that because that was the truth. DV, I was talking about. He said, not anything else you said. Okay. And so people go on. Listen. So, and then people said Gene has his experience, you have your experience. It's just a mess. It's just this whole orbit. They're kind of going at it and going at each other, right? So let me share a screen because the latest problem for Diddy and Cassie, and this is another one. And it's interesting that they didn't put this Dave on the stage. Now, see, the Southern District of New York knew about him also. They put other escorts on the stage on the witness stand, but they didn't put Dave on. And they didn't put Dave on. Why? Because Dave would have debunked their theory of how they say Cassie was just 100%, a victim. Because Dave is saying Cassie liked it. Dave is saying that Cassie asked several times for him to, do a golden shower on her. and then he talks about her hygiene and other stuff like that, and you know how they gave him money for XYZ. And you can say, well, Dave is a liar. Well, see, here's the problem. We weren't there, so none of us, we're all just picking sides on who we want to believe over who we don't believe. But I will say this: the Southern District of New York knew about him. Why didn't they bring him on the stand? It's just a mess, because I think everybody in that case was telling some form of a lie and maybe a sprinkle of the truth. Let's take a quick listen to some of it. You can go to the Art of Dialogue to listen to the whole thing.
Man. And Diddy, he got mad at you because you was having sex with Cassie behind his back, right?
No, I never had sex with her behind his back. She was contacting me behind his back. You know, after a while, the sex got really good after a while. So, you know, as a woman, as a human being, she wants to connect with the person that's making her feel like this. We had a lot in common. Her birthday's August 26th. My birthday's August 26th. So we're both Virgos. She's really into astrology. So, you know, us just being people who believe in certain things. Imagine meeting a woman and you having sex with her, and it's great. And then one day you find out you and her are born on the same day. That's something that you're going to be like, wow, is this a coincidence? So I think that's what kind of really strengthened our relationship to the point where she started to want to know more about me.
So he says that, you know, that pretty much Cassie would go behind her back, contact him. Diddy found out. Diddy spoke to Cassie and him. Cassie admitted she was going behind Diddy's back. And, you know, he said a lot of the fights, you know, between Cassie and Diddy broke out about that. And he said he stopped. Diddy told him to stop taking Cassie's phone calls or text messages, and he said he did. He said he got extra money to relieve himself, not urine, his baby making stuff in a cup. He got paid an extra $2,000. He did that for them a while. He talked about how Cassie, you know, the hygiene wasn't the best, but he said, you know, he made bad choices there. He was young. He wanted the money. He said they would have these marathon runs, and he just kept relieving himself in Cassie, you know, not urine, his baby making stuff. And he said she would walk around and wouldn't even wash. But listen, unfortunately, Cassie and Diddy were heavy on the substances, and he admits to taking some stuff too. And I think that, you know, when you're under the influence, hygiene and everything like that is not probably your priority. Your priority is doing what you do, I guess, and then, you know, taking more substances. Listen, people, a lot of these people in this orbit, I think now they're motivated by money, and some of them are motivated by I'm willing to tell some of the truth, but I'm not going to tell the piece of the truth that makes me look crazy and bad. Listen, people, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. Everybody, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts about everybody just kind of telling the piece of the truth they want to tell, the piece of the truth that makes them look good in the superhero in the story, and not the whole truth. And that's why we have these problems out in the world today, is because nobody wants to tell the whole truth, but then they want justice on half the truth or partial truth, and then they want to blame somebody when justice doesn't come out the way they thought it should. Well, maybe if you tell the whole truth, we can get some justice, and the justice perhaps that you want. Anyway, guys, hit the like button. I'll see you in the next video.